Good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa Conroy-Roth, and you're watching the latest episode of the Lightning Leadership Series. With me today, I'm so excited, is Steve Barley. Steve and I have known each other for a little over 10 years, both from a business standpoint as well as a nonprofit standpoint. We're currently both serving on the SIM Indianapolis board. And so Steve, welcome to Lightning Leadership. Excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So your Zap moment, let's just get that right going. What was the first time you realized that you were a leader?
Yeah. So it's been a while. So I'll tell you a little quick backdrop. So prior organization, I had to, like a number of individuals, go through, layoffs. And in one particular organization, ended up having to go through about 4. And I'll tell you the first 3, the way they were done, individuals would get emails and invites to particular rooms, and you kind of figured who was going to what room, what message they were getting.
Yeah.
And the messages were they were straightforward. They didn't really kind of beat around the proverbial bush, if you will, but they were very business oriented. And I felt, as when I looked at that and heard a couple of them myself, that is there a better way to do it? So on the last time that it happened, the organization was bought out. And I remember the vice president, she was standing in front of us, and she was open and honest. She said that in 18 months, we will complete the conversion. Some of you may get hired onto our primary organization. Others can apply to the third-party administrator who we'll use to administer the business. And then the others, feel free to apply for any other jobs, but otherwise, then you'd be let go. And I sat back and I thought to myself, her honesty, her integrity, and her willingness to share what's going to happen even 18 months out really resonated with me, especially in comparison to how the others had taken place. So moving forward, I was in an organization where I had an opportunity to reorganize the entire area. And this was going to change individuals' jobs profoundly. And I worked with HR and the right individuals within the organization to build the new job descriptions, build all the packages we need to, the communications. And this was about a year out before we were going to be able to execute it. And I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to share this with the team who was being impacted. And I received some advice that I should probably wait, that the concern would be that they'd leave and then we wouldn't get the work done. And I took it all then. But what I said back was, I shared what happened to me over those 4 years and what I experienced. And I said, it's not the right thing to do. These individuals have, they've given everything to us. They've been loyal to the organization. They're the crux of the organization. They help us achieve what we've achieved up to this point. We really need to be open and honest with them. And so I went and I told them, in about a year, this is what's going to happen. Kind of I laid everything out. And I did it because I felt like they deserved the respect. And afterwards, several of those individuals had come up to me and thanked me for being open and honest. And I said, well, you deserve all of it, right? It's what you've done everything for the organization. This is something that's happening outside of your control, and we need to be open and honest about it. So I felt like you needed to hear it. And the thing is, very few actually left. A number applied for the new jobs. Some decided to go on their separate ways. Some applied for other jobs within the organization. So I think that was the point that I realized that I transitioned into a leader, because I was putting individuals before the traditional business mentality, appreciating and respecting that their people, their lives were going to be impacted. And what I saw was appreciation. And I think that was probably the moment I saw the change.
That's awesome. reductions in forces are never easy, both on the candidates as well as for the leaders. And so thank you so much for bringing that topic up. I don't think we've talked about it yet on this podcast, but having been through one myself, as well as having to orchestrate and manage two others, I know the heartache and the hardships that come with it. And so thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, very welcome.
I really appreciate it. So let's talk about your journey. I know for many years you were in operations as a COO and then transitioned over to CIO. How has that journey, right, changed your approach?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been the chief operating officer was for 14 years, and even prior to that, I was in some form of operations. And throughout my entire career, I worked hand in hand with IT in some form or fashion. Usually, operations is one of its biggest clients, and so I would have a lot of meetings. I'd have a lot of interactions, collaborations, and things of that nature. And so I've always appreciated the value that IT brought to the table. And I always was intrigued by it and felt like IT was really going to be the backbone of any organization as time moved on and as technology advanced. Truthfully, I never really kind of envisioned being able to make that transition. I always kind of thought about, well, I've been in operations for 14, years plus. You probably need an IT background, and I made my choices in life, and there probably wasn't going to change. But I started to have conversations with some friends of mine, some peers, and really started to express my interest in getting into the field, the IT field. And quite frankly, as I started to really dig into it, I started to realize that being in IT is not necessarily different than working in operations. You're managing individuals, you're managing processes, you're managing the technology. So it really was very similar in nature. So through my conversations, through going to different IT conferences, I really started to build up in me that I want to make this move. And it just so happened that I had the opportunity to move into this position and take over now as the CIO. And it's been enriching and apprehensive, myself as well as the individuals who report to me. As you can imagine, someone coming from operations, coming into an IT department, not really knowing all of the technology, there was reservations about my abilities to come in and do this. And so I really started to talk with my staff, and I said, look, I'm not here to tell you how to run, technology. I'm not here to tell you that. What I'm here to help you do is broaden your horizons as a IT department in the way of how do we bridge the business and IT closer than it's ever been before. So kind of had an informal agreement with my team. It was, you teach me the technology, I will teach you the business and strategy. And so we've been doing that over the last several years. And it has really taken off in the way that when they look at what the business needs and wants, I can help interpret that for them from an IT perspective. And I can do the same backwards. And so I think that what's happened over the time is been really able to bridge IT and the business to a level that it hasn't been before. And I look at the work product we're providing now, and I feel like it's probably the best it has been.
That's awesome. So you take a practical approach with technology to solve business problems and putting people first.
Correct. Yes. So when we talk about business, when we think about what the problem is, I can help the IT folks understand, here's really the pain points. Here's what they're trying to say. And when you really break it down, you're really just looking at what's the core of the problem and does technology really fix it? And that's one of the things I try to, help the
That's
IT
great.
department understand. You need to have the courage to look at the business and say, that's not a technology solution you need. Update your process, change your procedure, do something other than look for the technology solution. So what's happening is really bringing the IT department to the table to have a meaningful conversation versus just saying, submit a ticket and I'll do the programming and deliver it. No,
Yeah.
what I want you to do is I want you to be a strategic partner with the business. And so that over the last several years is really what we've been building within the department as well as the rest of the organization.
And I think so many CIOs struggle with that. How do you position yourself as a strategic leader versus how do you not position yourself as an order taker, right? How do you get that seat at the table? And I think I go back to a previous podcast episode. Andy Norman, who's CIO of Bob Evans Farms, right, talks very specifically about what he's done. And so if you want to look back on that one's absolutely key. But Steve, thank you so much for joining me today. For anybody interested in reaching out to Steve, please feel free to do so on LinkedIn. For other Lightning Leadership episodes, please feel free to like us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and now Spotify. So with that, I will say thank you again, Steve Barley, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Tricia. I appreciate you having me.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.